Okay, so now that we've had time to simmer on our thoughts on our first day, our first time ever at Disney's Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, we're going to share our thoughts on it, and we have some positives and some negatives. If you don't like hearing negative reviews about anything Disney related, then go ahead and click off the video now, because we are going to have some negative reviews and negative things to say. But we will also be fair and balanced and have positive things to say as well. And I do all of this just so that way you guys know what to expect when you come on your Disney cruise on vacation, because I know a lot of you guys have been eagerly anticipating us going to Lookout Cay, so that way you guys know what to expect. And we are going to be as honest as we always are on this channel. So, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
You can go first.
I can go first? Okay. Let me start off with the positives. It's very pretty in the fact that it's colorful. I like how much vegetation there is around it. They planted a lot of new plants, and I like that they did that. The elevated walkways are definitely a little bit unique, and I love that they kind of leaned into the conservation aspect of what they wanted to do, where they wanted to provide a new island destination without disturbing the natural environment too much. And I like the elevated walkways. I love the fact that they tried to incorporate the local Bohemian culture in such a unique way. Like, that is something that I've never experienced before. And specifically, I'm talking about the Rush Junkanoo show with the Disney characters. I feel like that was really cool, because it starts off as a parade with all these Bohemian performers dressed up in these, what I can only assume is traditional Junkanoo outfits, coming from one end of the Goombay Beach over to the Cultural Center and doing this performance with the Disney characters. That was really cool, and that was actually a highlight of the day. The water is really nice, crystal clear water, really blue. I love the pink sand beaches. That was actually my first time ever at a pink sand beach. We were supposed to go to a pink sand beach in Bermuda, but y'all know how that cruise went. So this was actually our first time seeing a pink sand beach, and it was actually really nice. There's a lot of space to spread out on the beach. You don't feel clustered together like you do on Castaway, which is a huge benefit. The beach is really long. I feel like that's where the positives mostly end. Actually, no. Some of the new food that we had was really good. Like, specifically the jambalaya, the seafood, and the chicken jambalaya were both really good. Those are some of the new food items that they have specifically for Lookout Cay, and those were actually really good. But yeah, that is where the positives end. So I'm going to turn it over now to Coda to air out some of her negatives.
Oh, I don't get the positives?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Give some positives. Because I feel like you have a lot more negative things to say. Yeah, so, okay, go ahead and list your positives.
I mean, on a positive note, the walk isn't as bad as it seems.
It's not. It really isn't.
It's really not. And, like, if you get in your head about it, like, yeah, any walk is gonna suck. But if like, you're talking and having a good time, then that walk passes. Like, it's a whole 10 minutes.
It took me 11 minutes.
Like, it's not, as long as you're cruising, it's really not that bad. But the tram wasn't as bad as I thought it was. The tram's beautiful. If you haven't seen it, it's brand new. The cute little lizards on it. Oh, anyway, cute. Yeah, I liked that you could actually see the wildlife, and that they acknowledged the wildlife, which is cute. The little crabbies were everywhere. You didn't get to see the crabbies.
I didn't get to see any of the crabbies.
When I came in, there were crabbies all over the walls. It was so cute.
Did you get pictures of that?
I have a picture of a crabby.
A crabby? Okay, well, I'll put in a picture of a crabby here.
Yeah. Not on the wall, but I did get a picture of a crabby. Yeah.
That's where your positives end?
I like that the characters are out longer, not just in the morning, ending at like 11, like they do on Castaway. Like, they were out 2. I think they had some time after 2 that they were going to be out too. Mm-hmm. So, like, they were out closer to all aboard time, whereas at Castaway it's at like 11.
Yeah, you're lucky if you see any characters on Castaway Cay after 11, 12 o'clock, when over here at Lookout Cay, they were out, pretty, consistently, regularly throughout the entirety of the day. So that was really nice. Yeah, that is a good positive. Anything else?
They had the good eyes, but most Disney.
They do have the good eyes.
I think that's it.
That's it?
That's pretty.
All right, hit us with some of your negatives.
The bathroom was hot as all can be. It was colder outside.
Okay, we'd like to say that there's also more than one bathroom, but just the one bathroom in particular that she went into was really hot. However, the bathroom that I went to, the male bathroom, that was directly next to where she was, and the ceiling fans were on, and that felt totally fine. So
I was in a sauna.
It might have been a fluke with that bathroom.
The flies were killing me. I can't.
That's honestly the biggest thing.
No. I liked how long the beach was, but you can't go out that far. Like, granted, it gets deep fast, but, like, it felt restrained still, like, even though it was long.
She's talking about, like, from
Depth-wise?
sand to out in the water, swimming-wise.
I mean, seeing the coral while snorkeling was cool, but there's no, like, they don't give you any rules for, like, don't go past the white buoy. Don't dive down. Like, okay? But corals are animals, too, and they didn't, you know, as for a conservation aspect of this, they didn't say anything about don't touch the corals, don't stand on the corals, none of that. Like, leave them alone. But, nope, so people were climbing on them, walking on them. That's to hurt your feet, too. That can't be comfy.
Can't be, no.
No. After that, the lines, I mean, it was day one. Efficiency was not the best. They're gonna work on it. Mm-hmm. They couldn't, I feel like I was at 3 different drink stations and there was an issue at each one of them, whether it was drink flavors being out or the ice maker just straight up not working, carbonation in the wrong.
Yeah, so when I'm on a Disney cruise, I love to have the pomegranate vitamin water, and I went over to a drink station, and what came out is what I can only describe as pomegranate Sprite, where it was the same color and taste of the pomegranate, but it was sparkling and it was carbonated, and it was like drinking Sprite. And thankfully, it was only at one drink station that I had experienced this, because I walked around to the other one and that was totally fine, but that was really weird. And also, we don't have any more Powerade. Like, on Castaway Cay, you have blue Powerade that comes out of the dispenser, but not over here on Lookout Cay, and I'm very sad about that. Okay, so to not sound mean on this topic, like, all of us are snobbish about something in our lives. Something that we are super experienced with, and we just have a certain way of doing things, or we have a certain way that we prefer things. We're all snobby in some way regarding something in our lives. There are a lot of cruise snobs on this cruise. We learned yesterday that there are over 100 Pearl members on this cruise, which those are people who have sailed more than 25 times. And Coda even heard someone next to her who had sailed over 75 times.
She was super sweet, though.
Yeah, yeah. But we have seen a lot of snooty people, cruise snobs, on this ship. And people were very vocal about their displeasure over some of the littlest things that really don't need to be made a big deal about.
Like, we were at Serenity Bay. We were going to have lunch there. But there were people in the line that very audibly were like, it's 11:31. What happened to 11:30? This is ridiculous. The amount of times I've heard this is ridiculous on this cruise, you would think you're in Professor Lupin's class. I can't. And it's like the little, like, minor inconveniences, at least for me. Like, it was 11:31 and they were, for the first time, trying, you know, these cast members for the first time trying to figure out how to use the pulley system to get the shutters up. Mm-hmm. At least, you know, they were struggling still as they were rising. You could see them still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, it's trial and error.
Which, by the way, I want to give a huge shout out to all the cast members that are working this cruise and are learning all of this for the first time, because literally almost every single cast member that got off of the ship and went onto the island to work, they are seeing everything for the very first time, and gosh darn it, they did their best, and they did a phenomenal job. All of them kept a smile on their faces, even though they were getting pulled through the mud by some of the guests on this ship. They were so phenomenal, each and every single one of them. So huge hats off to you guys. You guys really make the magic, and you guys did a phenomenal job today with what very little knowledge and experience that you had regarding Lookout Cay. So huge hats off to you guys. But let's go ahead and reel it in and pull away from the guests. I feel like Lookout Cay is not really made for these larger ships. We had heard from several people that beach chairs were very difficult to come by, and we even heard about some verbal altercations between guests over beach chairs and not being able to find any. So that's a problem. I feel like Disney should add more beach chairs. Another thing is, again, this is a very special cruise where we have a lot of repeat cruisers and we have a lot of older guests, and specifically guests above 18. We have a lot of adults on this cruise, a lot more than, folks with kids. Serenity Bay was very, very crowded, and you could not find a place to sit at all to eat. So that's why we ended up going from Serenity Bay Barbecue over to True True 1 to eat. But yeah, it just overall feels like the island wasn't made for a larger ship like the Fantasy, Dream, or Wish. It feels like it was made for a smaller class like the Magic and the Wonder.
There's a lot of things that she wasn't ready.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Small details, she was not ready.
The island was not ready at all.
Mulching, I'm not going to give them, if you're planting new plants, they're going to be babies. Mm-hmm. They're going to be little, but you can see that they're going to mulch it, and it is very obvious that they're going to mulch it, but they didn't even try to make the sand look even nice. They just left it it's just gonna get mulch thrown on top of it. Or there were a couple staircases and cement. I don't know if you saw any of them. The cement at the bottom of the staircases, where you could tell there were sandbags there to hold up the cement. There's one, but we'll look at the snorkels. The sandbags are popping up out of the sand. They're orange. They're bright bags that you can see just there. The costumes are the Castaway Cay costumes. I'm
not going to fault them for that.
I am.
I'm not going to fault them for that. Yeah, it might be a cost-cutting measure, and yes, it would be nice to have, specific costumes for Lookout Cay, but I'm not going to fault them too much for that. Okay, cast member costumes don't bother me much.
Okay, I'm going to fault it because some of them had new costumes and some of them had across the board. They could have all been a Castaway and I've been they didn't get the costumes in on time. But to have it mixed,
I can see your point, but it doesn't bother me as much. That's like a little nitpick.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the biggest thing that is going to turn off a lot of people from wanting to visit Lookout Cay if Disney does not resolve this quickly. The flies. That is a huge issue that really should not have been an issue to begin with. And I don't understand how Disney could have even considered opening this island to guests with the knowledge of these flies existing and being able to swarm not just the islands, the restaurants, but the ship itself.
No woodpeckers.
Yeah, we have a woodpecker in the hallway. But this is the biggest, most glaring, obvious sign that Disney rushed this project and was not willing to delay it at all. Because had they had more time to prepare and actually do testing, they could have pulled in the citizens of Eleuthera and said, hey, have at it. We're going to do a full test run with the general public of this island. Have at it. They would have seen this problem immediately where the flies are attacking everything. The food at the buffet line getting swarmed by flies. You saw it from the video. Everyone was having to eat with their napkins over their tray. People swatting away flies. You saw the flies attracted to the discarded food over there. It was disgusting. Very disgusting, to the point where Coda just did not want to eat at all. She didn't eat at all on the island. And that's so upsetting. It's very upsetting for me. Because, how am I going to stare at my fiance just not eating while we're all trying to make an effort to eat and she's not eating anything? And then the poor girl, she came back onto the ship expecting to get some food. She went up to Flo's and Tomater's Grill, and there's flies attacking the food on the top deck. The flies made their way from the island the half a mile across the pier over to the ship to attack the food. This is a big problem. And I don't know what they're doing at Castaway Cay, but it's not a problem at all on Castaway Cay. I don't know if it's because of where the islands are, because they're very far away from each other, two completely different places. But whatever they do at Disney World, Disneyland's, Castaway Cay to prevent flies, they need to do something with Lookout Cay, and they need to do it fast. Because the entirety of the internet cannot stop talking about the flies. At first, when people docked at Lookout Cay a couple days ago on the preview cruise for the first time, the internet couldn't stop talking about the pier. That's not their biggest problem now. It's the flies. The internet cannot stop talking about the flies, and it's not going to take people very long at all to realize that this is a problem, and it's going to turn off a lot of people from wanting to come to Lookout Cay. And if Disney doesn't fix it fast, then they're going to see some negative repercussions. They're going to see some canceled bookings. I promise you. And you can tell that they took some of the feedback from the first preview cruise with the flies, because Disney brought in literal big ass fans.
Well, those had to be on order. Like, they came wrapped on a pallet. Those had to be ordered prior.
So then Disney knew about it before the preview cruise then. They had to have known about it before the preview cruise then, if we were loaded up.
Yeah. They could have at least test run something. Not necessarily, I mean, it could have been locals. Could have been the construction crew. But if they're bringing out these literal big ass fans, they knew there was a problem. Granted, there's a lack of fans, period.
Oh,
at
yeah.
this point, but two whole pallets worth of fans?
There's a lack of fans and a lack of shade. That's another thing. Like, there's a serious lack of shade on the island. It was hot. Really hot, and it was very difficult to find shade. So that's another problem. You need to make sure that you come prepared. We saw a lot of people with umbrellas. I've never seen people bring umbrellas to an island before, like on a cruise, and people felt, based off of the media cruise or the preview cruise, to bring an umbrella. And I should have brought an umbrella. Like, I thought about it too, but I thought that the pier would be, too windy for an umbrella.
It was better on the way back.
It was better on the way back. But, like, people were bringing umbrellas and walking around with umbrellas. I've never seen that before. You would never see that on Castaway Cay.
And there are natural ways, I mean, like the fans, to get rid of flies. Mm-hmm. That's what they use in the parks. They use, like, essential oils, garlic, pepper. Bugs don't like that. Maybe they're not cooking with that much garlic, but dang, throw some garlic on that grill, get them out of here. Like, oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, that is honestly the biggest thing. And everyone that we were with, Coda's parents, Peter and Kitra, we were all just disgusted with that, and that's something that needs to change very quickly.
I've seen roadkill with less flies on it.
Damn.
Where's the lie?
It's just something that we've never seen before.
So bad.
And we sat down at dinner and we were like, it's so nice to enjoy a meal without getting attacked by flies.
You get PTSD if food hits the table.
Yeah, and you know what? Guess what? We're gonna end up at Castaway Cay in a couple of days, and we're gonna sit there and we're gonna enjoy our food without any flies. Like, yeah, a random seagull might come and try and take your food, but I'll take that over 1,000,001 flies. Mm-hmm. But anyways, enough with the flies. Are there any other negatives that you can think about off the top of your head?
Well, the buildings are colorful. There's something missing.
Yes. Thank you. So we were talking about this at dinner, and I had said that, Castaway Cay, of course, we're going to be comparing it to Castaway Cay because that's the only thing we have to compare it to. Castaway Cay has the Disney charm. Like, you get on that island and you feel like you're in the Disney bubble. There are those subtle little touches and subtle little details that put Castaway Cay above the other islands visually and just as far as aesthetics are concerned. Lookout Cay feels like one of those private beach destinations that you book for an excursion that licensed out Disney characters, if that makes any sense. It feels like an exclusive beach resort that you would find on Cozumel that just licensed out Disney characters. That's what it feels like. Like, there are no subtle Disney touches to make it feel more Disney. And I understand that they wanted to keep it true to the Bahamian culture, and that's totally fine. I'm not faulting them for that. But just the lack of Disney touches, it doesn't feel like a Disney destination. Not at all. And when we were out on the water, when we had just got done snorkeling, I was sitting there and in the water just looking around, It felt like I was at Clearwater Beach or something. Like, maybe not Clearwater Beach because it's more industrialized, but, you know, it just didn't feel like we were at a Disney property at all. It just felt like we were at a generic beach. It was very pretty beach, but it didn't feel like anything Disney. Right?
I mean, if you're in the water at Castaway, though, it doesn't look... You can see the ship, though.
I think that's probably what it is.
As I said it, I was like, that's it.
I think that's probably what it is, actually. When you're on the main family beach in Serenity Bay, you don't see the ship at all. And you know what? I actually think that you're right. I think that you're right. It's the fact that we're able to see the ship when we're on Castaway Cay. Like, if you're not at Serenity Bay, whatever, you don't see the ship, but you still have those subtle Disney touches that we spoke about. But on the family beach, you don't see the ship at Lookout Cay. And that's something I mentioned in the video earlier, is that they paywalled that view. They paywalled that view. Serenity Bay should have been where those family cabanas are.
Oh, yeah.
That is the most secluded area of the island. That is the most quiet part of the island. And that is the view. That is the best view of the island. And Disney paywalled it behind cabanas. You can't see the ship from any other part of the island. Once you're on that tram, you're out. And I really don't like that. We're going to be touching on Serenity Bay a lot more on Thursday when we go back, because we barely scraped the surface of that today. But the fact that Serenity Bay is right next to the family beach, like, it clashes way too much, and there's hardly a divide.
Is there? Well, I mean, we didn't walk the beach side.
The only divide is like a lifeguard stand with a couple of cones. But there's nothing on the beach indicating that you're entering Serenity Bay, the adult-only area. So you just
take the current and end up over there.
Yeah. But, like, on land, as you're walking towards Serenity Bay, you have to walk by the cabanas. And there's a sign there, a tiny little sign that's probably about this big, that says 18 plus only. But, yeah, oh my gosh. We've been talking for 24 minutes now. Holy cow.
And, like, as for the Disney touches, there's no... I didn't see any I didn't look. I'm not gonna lie. It's like no hidden characters besides they have the little bronze statues of the new kids. They're cute. Mm-hmm. But there's no like Finding Ariel or Mickey or Tinkerbell or anybody in the artwork. Yeah. Like even something like that, I feel like would tie it. Like
have some authentically Junkanoo and Eleuthera artwork, but like little like tiny hidden. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the shirts.
Like little tiny hidden like characters or Mickeys would do a whole world of difference.
Like it's one of those Junkanoo designs, but it's Donald.
Mm-hmm. Like something like that. We need more of that. Like there was one photo op of a Junkanoo design that was like a Mickey, but it didn't say Lookout Cay on it. It didn't say Disney on it or anything. Like that was really it. That was the only photo op that was even remotely Disney-ish.
Yep. And people are making their owns at the signs, which is like cool on all their different pictures as opposed to only seeing that red Mickey. But that. There's still like 3. There's 2 Lighthouse Point signs or Lookout Cay signs, and then the Mickey. And those are the main pictures that you're seeing.
Yeah. There's no like big extravagant sign that says "Welcome to Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point." It's like literally just a sticker on the side of the building as you walk in.
It's not even painted; it's vinyl.
Yeah.
But I know paint will fade better. But.
Oh my gosh! I mean, overall, despite all the negatives that we're listing, I still enjoyed myself. And I said it in the video that I'm excited to see this place grow, and I'm excited to see how it changes over the next 5 years. It's just very obvious that they rushed the project. It shouldn't have opened at this point. It should have been delayed even a couple of weeks or a month to iron out all the little creases that they have going on. But I'm still excited to see what becomes of it, because they are going to add to it. It's only going to get better from here, we hope. It's only going to get better from here. I feel like we're gonna speak a lot more on this on Thursday after we had our second visit, because during this cruise, this inaugural cruise, we are the first guests ever to visit twice. But yeah, anyways, we have the rest of this day to film. We have the rest of this vlog to film. This is probably going in its own separate video. I still have fun though. I still enjoyed it. Coda's off camera putting her stuff away now, but I still enjoyed myself on my first day at Lookout Cay. So let's go ahead and continue our day. If this is in a separate video, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Drop a comment down below and share your initial thoughts, because this review is probably coming out after the main vlog. Yeah, I hope you're all having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, evening, and I'll see you guys in the next video.